Patch 10.0.7 is right around the corner, and with it, more exploration of WoW's latest playable class and race. This time delving further into the mysterious origins of the Dracthyr. We will look at this new information, and look at the validity surrounding the rumours of a third specialization being introduced. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come, take a seat by the fire. With the unlocking of the Forbidden Reach and all the new content that comes with it, we also receive a new achievement. One to collect a series of journals belonging to an ancient and unknown member of the Black Dragonflight. One sent by Neltharion to oversee the status of the Dracthyr, now placed into stasis by Malygos. Her name is revealed to be Adamanthia, Chief Warden of the Forbidden Reach. And while we will not be reading through each of the journals here, as they can easily be accessed on other websites or within the PTR itself, we will cover the broader points. I'll attempt to give you a synopsis. She was a black dragon from before the corruption of the old gods had set in. She oversaw the status of the Forbidden Reach and the Dracthyr within stasis. She performed countless experiments upon these very Dracthyr, attempting to use order magic to reassert the control that was lost when the Titan artifact was destroyed. She concluded that it was not possible to use order magic to control them further, and that it was her belief that they could be won over in other ways much like a mortal would, but was subsequently ordered to desist in this idea further, being ordered to remove the essence of the Black Dragonflight from them by Neltharion himself. Ultimately, she would suffer a fate worse than death by being imprisoned alive within a crystal, as a warning to any others who would attempt any further prying into this matter. A very big takeaway is that the Dracthyr, while not remembering her clearly, can sense that she holds a part of them within her still. Most probably, the essence of the Black Dragonflight she once excised. These are of course the broad strokes from the information provided, and they have caused a lot of chatter within the community at what they could be hinting at, and I do recommend to each of you to go and read them for yourself, or read them in game when we get them, and experience it for yourself firsthand. As soon as this was posted, people began to speculate that the essence of the Black Dragonflight that was removed under Neltharion's orders could perhaps one day be restored, and with that, the return of the earth magics that seemed mostly missing from the pool of Dracthyr abilities. There are most definitely some earth-based abilities already there, landslide, obsidian scales and deep breath, which are obviously earth aligned, but the presence of earth magic is notably diminished, and now we know why. We do not know, however, the reason Neltharion thought it prudent to remove the earth magic in the first place. If we were to speculate on this point, it would be because the plans for the Dragon Soul device were already in motion. Perhaps a similar plan was in the early days of being devised, to grant dominion to the Black Dragonflight that they so fervently began to believe was rightfully theirs. The Dracthyr could not be allowed immunity to the device, as without total control they could not be trusted to take the side of the Earth aspect every time, and such wildcards could not be suffered with plans as delicate as those being undertaken. But for a moment, let us consider the possibility that the community is right. The Earth aspects of powers are restored to the Dracthyr, and with this it unlocks a now unrevealed third specialization for them. This time perhaps a tank specialization. We will name it Warder for the purposes of this exercise. It could use the power of the Bronze Flight to reverse time, while healing and harming their enemies with an array of magic from the other flights, all the while using the Earth to reinforce their strength. However, While having the first male tank class would be a welcome change, and it does have validity in the lore, it is hard to believe Blizzard would do this in a mid-patch. I think it best if I leave the speculation on this hidden tank specialization to the community, but we would also speculate on what other uses the return of this Earth Essence could be. If they did restore themselves to full power, what could this mean from a narrative perspective? I would like to remind everyone that this section is purely speculation at the potential future on the narrative of World of Warcraft. So grab your tinfoil hats and let's have a look together. For context, the history of the dragons of the Black Flight's connection to the Earth has afforded them a unique perspective on the world. It was said that this connection to the mantle of Azeroth itself is what afforded the eldritch horrors, known as the Old Gods that resided within, to whisper their maddening truths to them. It is therefore possible that this severing of connection was precisely why Neltharion needed the essence removed. He would have known the precarious situation he was in, and likely the ultimate cost of working with the Old Gods. He would not want a powerful army that is no longer under his total control to fall in the wrong hands, even the hands of his would-be allies. Like we saw in the Legacies animations at the release of Dragonblight, we can see Neltharion having much more forethought into the future path the allegiance with the Old Gods would take him. This is just further confirmation that he at first attempted to use the power of the Shadow for altruistic means, and not give in completely as we saw much later with his transformation into Deathwing. It would be remiss of us to not look at the other side of the coin. It could be entirely possible that Deathwing was salvaging what he could from a failed experiment. This could be far more cold and calculating than we are giving him credit for. He could just be reclaiming the essence he expended to create them, to perhaps use in his next experiment. This is backed up slightly in the journals, when it appears Adamanthia becomes distressed that the Dracthyr are being sent to a place she names Aberrus, to be used up in what she describes as an esoteric experiment. The place Aberrus, however, while this is the first mention of this name, is extremely likely to be the same area as the one mentioned in the lore books from Older Man. We covered in our video on an ancient slumbering power beneath the Dragon Isles, an anomaly of sorts that appears to have an effect on living creatures around it, and being unknown to even the Titanforged as to what it is. While we here at the campfire would love to believe that perhaps Neltharion cared for the Dracthyr, it seems most likely to us that they were nothing but a well-honed sword. Once Neltharion lost the ability to wield it against his enemies, he recycled what he could and moved on to the next big experiment. This coldness is not out of character for him, and it would explain why no further attempt at creating the Dracthyr was attempted, that without the Titan artifact to force their will and unity, they were seen as ineffective. So in conclusion, if we had to make our best prediction, it seems unlikely that a tank specialization would be added mid-expansion. But it is nice to get some lore surrounding why the seemingly missing earth magic from Evoker happened, even if that is not the answer most people were hoping for. It has been a long time since we got such a narrative-rich minor patch in WoW, and they are really setting the stage for an extremely exciting 10.1, with so many hints and reveals to keep us guessing along the way. I want to give them credit for this. As always, we love to hear your thoughts, and perhaps you disagree and are certain that a new spec will become playable. If so, then let us know your thoughts in the comments, or tell us why on the Discord. We would love nothing more than to be wrong on this one. Oh, and don't forget to come back anytime.